Hi there, my name's Adam Troop, and today I'm going to do a little quick autofocus comparison on the A7S2 using a few Sony lenses and actually a Zeiss lens as well. So first up we've got the Sony Zeiss 16 to 35mm f4. It's set at 16mm f4 and yeah, it's had ample time to pick me up in focus. So I'm just going to stand a little bit closer just to see if it picks me up there, and I'm going to move off one more time and come back in central where the sort of focus point is, centrally positioned. And let's try this lens at 35mm. Okay, here we go. This is the Sony Zeiss lens at 35mm. Again, just using autofocus to see if it can pick me up, how quickly it picks me up compared to the other lenses. Okay, so here we've got the Sony 28 to 70, the kit lens. It's currently f3.5. It's at the wide 28mm end of the lens, and I'll just move in a little bit closer and I'll pop out. And back in again. Okay, now let's try this lens at 70mm. So now we've got the 28 to 70 at 70mm. It'll be at f5.6 because that's the minimum aperture at full 70mm on this lens. So I'm just going to pop out and pop back in once more. So now we're looking at the Sony 28mm f2 at full aperture of f2, and you'll probably notice the autofocus is a lot better than it was in the night shots that I did in my full review of this lens. And here we go, I'm just coming in a little bit closer this time. I'm probably maybe about 3 feet away from the camera, so obviously there was a bit more of a focus jump for it. And I'm just going to walk away on this one and walk back. And I'll just pop back in one more time. Okay, so next up we're going to try the Sony Zeiss 55mm f1.8. And this is the Sony Zeiss 55mm f1.8. So I'm probably similar distance as I came in the first time on the 28mm. I'm just going to move back a few steps and move forward a few steps. And I'm coming in just a little bit further away from the camera, maybe about sort of 5 feet or so, 5-6 feet, and probably about 5. Okay, and lastly, let's check out the 85mm Batis 1.8. So lastly, we have the 85mm Batis 1.8, which I have to admit, I've already shot this piece, but it was a complete fail. The focus point did not get me in at all. Okay, so the Batis does not like me popping into the frame. I'm really struggling to get it to focus on me, and I don't know why, because it's worked a few times before. But I'm certainly not going to do the outro on this lens again, because I'm not doing it for a 4th time. I'll pop out and pop back in again. Here we go, I'm bang center, that's where the focus point is. Hopefully it's getting me. So I kind of thought one of the reasons the Batis might be failing is because at 1.8 it's obviously got the least amount of depth of field compared to all the other lenses I've tested, and at 1.8 is it just asking too much on the A7S2. Obviously it may possibly fare better on an A7R2 or an A7 II with the phase detection points. So as you can see, and I'm pretty confident that I'm saying the right thing here, it is focused on me. I've closed it down to f2.8 and it seems to be performing, well, at least it's finding focus. It's maybe still a little bit slow, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop back out and I'm going to come back in roughly about its minimum focus distance, just see how it finds that. Okay, so this should probably be around its minimum focus distance. Its minimum focus distance is 80 centimeters, 0.8 of a meter, and yeah, I'm about a meter here, so you know, just outside its minimum focus distance. So be interesting to see if it gets focus on me here, and I'll take a few steps back just to let you see how it tracks the focus of a subject moving away from it, and I'll come back in. Let's see how it's doing. I'll try it also at f4. Okay, and this is the Batis at f4, so be interesting to see if it's any quicker at focusing while at f4 as opposed to f2.8. And I'll try it one more time at f1.8 just to make sure that, you know, it wasn't a fluke last night and it was just not agreeing, although I suspect it's just not going to like this test at 1.8. Let's try it. Okay, and this is it at f1.8, and the light I think is fairly similar to what it was yesterday. I mean, it's pretty flat, which obviously isn't the best thing in the world for a contrast-based autofocus system, you would think. But yeah, is it succeeding at f1.8 or is it failing? Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and I'm just shooting my little outro on the Batis 85. I wasn't going to, but now it's at f4, so, you know, hopefully, and I gave it a few seconds to get focus, so hopefully it's worked. Anyway, I don't want to redo this for like the 5th time, because I did it a bunch of times yesterday, but I've got some new conclusions. So, I said yesterday that I would not recommend the Batis for this type of shot if you're doing this kind of, you know, standing in front of camera speaking and you're relying on the continuous autofocus to focus on you, because obviously you can't see yourself and you're just trusting the camera. But I would say, you know, and at 1.8 it did get me in focus there, but there's, I don't know if I framed it differently, but there's not much in the background there. It's just, you know, clouds and then there's something. So. But yeah, I wouldn't it was really slow. I wouldn't recommend using it at f1.8 for this kind of purpose. 2.8 acceptable, and then obviously at f4 it was a bit faster again. My experience now, and it's only been about a week, but autofocusing on subjects when you're behind the camera with the Batis, it's fine. You know, it's obviously, you know, it's trying to do a lot, because when you're working at 1.8 you do have a minimal depth of field, so any changes are going to appear reasonably drastic, and it's got a lot of work to do to keep things in focus. But yeah, when as long as your subject isn't moving too much and you can see, and you can always, you know, depress the shutter button just to correct it slightly and be like, no, you've lost it, go back on, you know, then I've got some amazing footage with it so far. So I hope you've enjoyed this little comparison, and if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, more lens reviews, all that kind of good stuff, then please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. Thanks.